Hello Year 7s. In this lesson, we're going to be learning about best buys. Our learning objectives are going to be compare how much each unit costs when given two deals and select the appropriate deal, which is the best buy, and save the most money. Now, this idea of best buys is intimately related to our previous lesson, which was all about rates and ratios. So we're really going to be drawing upon that knowledge as we go through this. So let's begin with our first slide here. So we're determining the best buy. Let's first remind ourselves of a few things. In the last lesson, we learnt about the unit rate. The unit rate is the ratio of two measurements in which the second term, the denominator, is 1. We're going to be seeing that. Now, a special type of unit rate is the unit price or the unit cost, which is simply a unit rate when we're dealing with money. So this tells you the cost per litre, per kilogram, per pound, etc. of what you buy. So by finding the unit price or the unit cost, we can compare deals and figure out which is the best value for money. So right here, we're being asked, by calculating the unit price, determine the best buy for the following brands of dog food. So we have a 5 kilo bag for $35 and a 12 kilo bag of Thrive for $60. So a 5 kilo bag of King, so that's the brand of food it is, for $35, and a 12 kilo bag of Thrive for $60. So what we're going to want here is to find the unit price. So that means we need to find how much is this dog food per kilogram. So let's write out a ratio. We know for this one it's going to be $35 for 5 kilos. And for this one over here, we know it's going to be $60 for 12 kilos. Now, in order to find the unit price, what we need, if we come up here and look at our unit rate definition, we need the second term, or the denominator, to be 1. So if I want this second term, this 5 kilo, to be 1, how am I going to do that? Well, I'm simply going to divide by 5. Now, if I divide this side by 5, I must divide the other side by 5. I must. So that means I'm going to get 5 kilos divided by 5. That's just going to be 1 kilo. And 35 divided by 5, that's going to be $7. So that wasn't kilos, it's dollars. $35 divided by 5 will be $7. So that means we're going to get $7 for every 1 kilo. So that means it costs $7 a kilo. Fantastic. Now, as you can see here in the definition of a unit rate, it says the second term and then in brackets the denominator. And that's because we can write our ratio here as a fraction. We could say it's $35 over 5 kilos. And if I now want my denominator to be 1, I'm simply going to divide my denominator by 5, and then I have to therefore divide my numerator by 5, because whatever I do to the bottom, I must do to the top. This will become 1, this will become 7, so that means I'm going to be left with $7 over 1 kilo, and that's exactly the same as $7 a kilo. So as you can see, we can easily change our notation to fractions when we're dealing with ratios, because it's all the same thing. All right, so now we know that this brand of dog food is $7 a kilo. Is that a good deal? I have no idea. I haven't bought dog food for a very long time. If we now was to do this, 12 kilos for a bag of Thrive, the first thing I do is I write down my ratio. Now, remember, I want my second term to be 1. So that means I'm going to have to divide this by 12, and I'm going to have to divide this by 12 as well. I'm going to divide this by 12. So because I'm dividing this side by 12, I must divide that side by 12. This is going to be 1 kilo. And then 60 divided by 12 is going to be $5. Because it's $60, I divide it by 12, it becomes $5. So that means it's going to be $5 a kilo. Now, I could do all this fraction stuff, but we don't need to. I was just showing you that this is the same thing as what we did there. So one price is $5 a kilo, and the other price is $7 a kilo. Well, it's quite clear that this is the better deal. This one right here is your best buy. That's what you'd call it. You'd call it the best buy. And that means that per kilo, it's cheaper. You're paying $5 for 1 kilo, while for this one, you're paying $7 for 1 kilo. So I would much prefer to buy this one. Better value for money. It's your best buy. Let's now go through another one. So this time we're being asked to calculate the unit price, determining the best buy for the following: 3 batteries for $4.80 or 12 batteries for $14.76. The first thing that we're going to do is write it as a ratio. So it's $4.80 for 3 batteries. So let's write 3B. And then over here, we have $14.76 for 12 batteries, so 12B. If I want to find my unit price, I need to find it per battery. So how much does one battery cost? And by figuring out how much one battery costs, I can figure out what is going to be my better deal. In order to do that, I'm obviously going to have to divide this by 3. If I divide this by 3, I must divide this by 3. I must divide this by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1 battery. Now, what is 4.80 divided by 3? You might need to come down here and do this. 4.80. 3 here. Let's do some maths. How many times does 3 go into 4? Goes in once with 1 remainder. I just want to bring my decimal place straight up immediately. How many times does 3 go into 18? It goes in 6 times. So that means what's going to go here is $1.60. So that means if I was to write out my final answer here, it's going to be $1.60 per battery. So it's going to be $1.60 per battery, and I might write it out, battery. So $1.60 for 1 battery. Let's now figure out what this one's going to be. In order to get this to be 1, what I'm going to have to do is divide it by 12. Now, if I divide this by 12, I'm going to have to divide this one by 12. So that means I'm going to get 1 battery over here, and then I need to figure out what 14.76 divided by 12 is. So I'd come down here, I'll write it out. 14.76. Let me get a blue pen. How many times does 12 go into 1? It does not. How many times does 12 go into 14? Well, that goes in 1 time with 2 left over. How many times does 12 go into 27? Well, that goes in twice. That goes in twice with 3 left over. How many times does 12 go into 36? That goes in 3 times. So that means my answer here is going to be 1.23. So that means 1 battery is going to cost me $1.23. So that is what it's going to be. We now look at our answers. So this one right here, 3 batteries for $4.80. So that's $1.60 per battery, or 12 batteries for $14.76. That's $1.23 for the batteries. Obviously, this is the better deal. For 1 battery, I'm paying less. So this is my best buy. So write best buy because it's cheaper. And we're all about saving that money. Let's keep on going. You might want to pause the video and just try this for yourself, but it's going to be exactly the same idea. And I might just do this a little bit differently. I might just use fractions instead of using the traditional dot. So if I have 5 kilos of potatoes for $150, what's that going to be? Well, that's going to be 105 divided by 5 kilos. And over here, this is going to be 552 over 24 kilos. What kind of potatoes are these? Let's just read that again. 5 kilos of potatoes for $150 and 24 kilos of potatoes for $552. This better be the best tasting potatoes I've ever eaten. Now that we've written it like this, and remember, writing it like this is no different to writing it like this. It's just a different way to represent it, and you should be comfortable if you see it like this. Okay, so what I have to do, I have to make my denominator 1. So that means I'm going to have to divide this by 5. I'm going to have to divide this by 5. 5 divided by 5 is going to be 1. 105 divided by 5. If you're having trouble with this, just come do this. 105. 5 goes into 1 0 times. 5 goes into the 10 twice. 5 goes into 1 1 time. So that means this is going to be 21. So it's going to be 21 over 1 kilo. Let me just tidy this up a bit. Everything is just a bit all over the place at the moment. So this right here would be 21 over 1 kilo. So that means my unit price is going to be $21 a kilo. $21 a kilo. Let's highlight that. Those are expensive potatoes. If we were to do this over here, I'm going to have to get my denominator to be 1. So I'm going to have to divide by 24. Whatever I do to the bottom, I must do to the top. So I'm going to have to divide this by 24. This is going to become 1. I would come over here just to make sure I don't mess this up. 5, 5, 2. So how many times does 24 go into 5? It does not. How many times is 25 going to 55? That's going to go in twice because 24 times 2 is 48, which means I'm going to have 7 left over. How many times is 24 going to 72? That goes in 3 times. So perfect. So that means if I was to rewrite this, that is going to become a 23. So it's going to be $23, 1 kilo. So I'm paying 23. Whoa, that is ugly. It's going to be $23 a kilo. So what's cheaper, $23 a kilo or $21 a kilo? Hopefully you said this one because 21 is a lower number. So you're paying less for 1 kilo. So write best buy. Best buy. This is your best buy. All right, we have one more question and then we are done. This one's a little different. You should remember this. You saw this on the pre-test. It says Isaac is at the shops to buy a block of chocolate for a snack. There are 2 options he is choosing between. We have a fruit and nut, which is $2.20 for a 200-gram block, and a salted caramel for $2.80 for a 250-gram block. Now, immediately, the correct answer is the salted caramel because who wants to eat fruit and nut? That sounds disgusting. That was a joke. We do not know that yet. That was my poor attempt at a joke. Okay, how are we going to do this? The first thing you should notice is that these are disgusting numbers. Like if I was to write this out as a ratio, it's going to be $220 for 200 grams. If I wanted to find the unit price, would I find it per gram? If I did that, I would have to divide this by 200, which is easy enough. That's going to be 1 gram. But then I would have to go, this is divide. I would have to divide this by 200 to find this. What is 200 divided by 2.20? Oh, yuck, that's disgusting. I don't want to do that. It's just, in maths, we want to find the path of least resistance. Well, let's come and look over here and see what we've got over here. Here we've got 280, and that's for a 250-gram block. Now, this is where some people had, and there was only a few, maybe 1 or 2, who really impressed me on the pre-test by getting this correct. And what they realized is, we're not going to find it per gram. What we're going to do is find it per kilogram, because they knew that 200 and 250 can be easily converted to kilograms. We know there's 1,000 grams in a kilogram. So if I take this 200 and I multiply it by 5, it becomes 1 kg. And if I take 250 grams and I times it by 4, it becomes 1 kg. Now I just need to make sure I do the same to the other one over here. I'm going to times this by 4. And this one I would have to times it by 5. And now I'm still finding the unit price, but now it's for 1 kilo. Aren't we smart? So we're going to go 2.20 multiplied by 5. 5 times 0 is 0. 5 times 2 is 0, carry the 1. 2 times 5 is 10, plus 1 is 11. Now here's the tricky part. Because we have 2 decimal places in our answer, we need to have 2 decimal places in our, because we have 2 decimal places in our question, we need 2 decimal places in our answer. So I put that right there. Perfect. So my answer here is going to be for 1 kilo, it's going to cost me $11. $11.00. ... Let's come over here now and let's figure out what 280 is times 4. Again, the same process. 4 times 0 is 0. 8 times 4 is 32. Okay, bring that up there. 2 times 4 is going to be 8 plus 3 is 11. Because I have 2 decimals in my question, I have 2 decimals in my answer. So I put a decimal place right there. So I'm going to get 1120. All right, here's the big moment. Which is cheaper? For this one, I am spending, let me get the highlighter. For here, I'm spending $11 for 1 kilo. For here, I'm spending $11.20 for 1 kilo. So my fruit and nut is cheaper. It is cheaper because it's less than 20 cents. It's a 20-cent better deal. But again, and I repeat this, who in their right mind would choose fruit and nut over salted caramel? So I stick by my original solution. I'm joking. Please don't say that in the test. Mr. S misled me in the lesson. He said that the taste of the chocolate counts. It doesn't. I'm joking. This is your best buy. Okay, let's come here. Review best buys, learning objectives. Compare how much each unit costs when given 2 deals. We did it. Select the appropriate deal, which is the best buy, and save the most money. We did that as well. Hopefully this lesson has made sense to you. Please contact me if it does not. I'll see you soon.